Hey, everybody, David Neagle. Welcome to another episode of the Successful Mind Podcast. And today we have a friend and a client. Kathy is with us today. And Kathy, I'd like you to tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So I am Kathy Nunnally Anemogiannis. I married a Greek, got that big long last name.
Anemogiannis.
now you speak Greek.
Now I speak Greek. Yes.
So I started up a boutique recruiting firm specializing in industrial manufacturing distribution. We have a small team, fully remote. And then I've also become chair of a nonprofit we started up, Eleos Foundation, and we're providing sports bras, underwear, period products to women surviving homelessness, human trafficking, and domestic violence. We started that in memory of our daughter, Athena. Athena was someone who did quiet acts of kindness. She didn't like to be out in the forefront, and so some her friends came up with Eleos Foundation. Eleos was the goddess of mercy and compassion, and a friend to Athena in ancient Greek mythology.
And why did you create this foundation around your daughter's, her name, her idea?
Yes, yes. So Athena, we had it. It hasn't even been 3 years, David. We'll have her 3-year memorial this month on July 20th, and in the wake of that devastating loss, her boyfriend, her friends let us know what she was quietly up to, and what she was doing was packaging period products for women that she would encounter at gas stations in downtown Decatur, which is a small enclave here in Atlanta area. And so she wouldn't give them money, but she would give them, essential hygiene products. And so, honestly, in the beginning, it was a way for us to channel our grief because it was a profound, profound loss and very unexpected. And then the way the universe operates, it was remarkable, the unfolding. And from those modest efforts, just handing out bags on the streets like Athena was doing, we're now serving at this point 38 women's shelters across the entire state of Georgia. And that's only in like 2 years.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, and we feel like she's part of part of that unfolding. And it is that thing, whether it's business or the nonprofit, just people showing up at the right time with the right resources or the answers. Um, so yeah, I'm really touched with being a part of that, and so grateful for her friends telling us about that, and everyone just coming together and serving. And it's that principle, David, that you remind us of, that principle of more life. So to think that on the other side of such a devastating loss, that that this is providing life and hope and resources to hundreds, if not thousands, of women per year here across Georgia.
You know this, not necessarily everybody that's going to be listening to the show knows this, but I had some profound experiences with the homeless as a teenager in Chicago, and I was hanging out downtown with a girlfriend. She worked down there, and I would go down there and have lunch with her, like in the summertime, and then we would go. We would I would wait for her to get off work, and then we would go home. And I would walk around, just walking around, killing time, seeing the sights, that type of thing. And Chicago had a significant homeless problem. They basically always have. And one day I was just kind of sitting there watching these people, and I happened to notice the people walking past them and the reaction or non-reaction that they would have when they would walk past homeless people. And I became very fascinated with the human behavior side of this. And I spent a couple of years down there, in in my own time, like part time, watching them, talking to them, observing the way people observed them. And what's interesting about that is that, some people give, some people don't, some people don't care, some people can't deal with their own embarrassment of observing somebody in that situation, all kinds of different things. But it's kind of like, I wonder how many people, when they see somebody in that type of a situation, think to themselves, I wonder what they need for hygiene. Like, what could I actually get? Because most people, if you've lived anywhere near a city, most people have been hit on for money or something like
Right.
that. I remember one time I was at a restaurant in downtown Chicago with my family, and we were, for whatever reason, everybody was going in at the same time, so there were reservations and that type of thing. And a guy came up to me and he asked me for some money, and I gave him the money. And somebody said to me, "You shouldn't have done that because he's just going to go to the liquor store and buy alcohol with it." And so I followed the guy, and that's exactly what he did. He went right into the liquor store and bought alcohol with it. And since then, I've watched many people like say, "Well, I'll buy you a sandwich, or I'll buy you some clothes, or what, I'll get you something that you need, but I'm not just going to give you cash to go buy alcohol or drugs, with this." How is what the Eleos Foundation provides, how is it received on the street?
So uh, I'll share a story. Athena's boyfriend, Jason. I mean, we have this whole brigade. Everybody has these bags in their
Yeah.
cars. In addition to, we're shipping hundreds and hundreds of dollars of bulk materials to shelters in remote, in rural Georgia, South Georgia. So this is just, the bags are just what we're doing in Metro Atlanta. But Jason tells a story of being at a gas station and someone really pestering, a woman pestering him for money. And he said, I don't have money to give you. I have this. I don't want anything. I want money. So he said, well, just take this, see what you think. And
Uh-huh.
she took her bag, walked across the parking lot, sat down, opened it, and he looked back over at her, and she just not.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the letters and the notes that we get from the domestic violence shelters that we're serving, messages like, what a difference, a new pair of underwear makes. What a
Right.
difference
Yeah,
that
sure.
these products that are very costly allows them to devote their resources to their programs. So counseling, jobs training, temporary housing, etc. So we're taking care of a baseline of need, so that they can stabilize and go on to thrive, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how difficult is it to work through whatever they have to work through to try to get better, if they have to even worry about their own hygiene every day?
Right.
The basics for life are not there for them. So I congratulate you and everybody for doing that, and your
Thank
daughter
you.
for
Thank you.
starting that idea. Like, what great insight she must have had. Instead, because I guess that's kind of the point in you telling my story,
Yeah.
is like, people look at them and they don't think to themselves, what does this person really need? But your daughter had that insight, like, oh my God, these people, they're about doing this, that, and the other, but here's probably what they need more than anything else. And she comes up with this idea.
Yeah, and I think part of where she was coming from, David, I imagined the fact she had a host of autoimmune disorders that she was managing, I don't know, for 10 or 12 years. And um, endometriosis is one that causes women to have very, very heavy periods and discomfort, and also polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I think, knowing my daughter, I think it occurred to her that not everyone has the resources that she had. And she had also read something that 1 out of 10 women, statistically, 1 out of 10 women has endometriosis. So I think
Wow.
that was probably what motivated her actions. But Jason said she would sit on a curb and speak to a woman and just listen to their story, just be there to listen to them. And he said he would just wait patiently, in the car or somewhere. And that's part of it too in serving the domestic violence shelters. We've learned just how traumatized, how sensitive it is to maintain confidentiality about the locations. Um, yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a learning. I mean, the first time I went and we started building our list. You go to any web page, and there's a giant red button up in the corner that says escape. And what it does is it deletes the history, the browsing history, so that the perpetrator, whatever, can't see where this woman has been researching.
Wow.
They all
That's a
have
great
that
idea.
escape button. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had several clients over my career that have been in a situation like that where they needed to figure out a way to be safe because they were. I mean, they're being pursued by a predator. That's what
Yeah.
really what's happening. We were talking before we started recording this, and I said you did start with the Art of Success. Yes, you said yeah, and then you said I think I did three of them before you actually moved on and did other things with us. Tell us about that journey, what that's been like for you.
So, I had to overcome, we talk about limiting beliefs and mindsets that we've, uh, you know, adopted from our families and life circumstances and whatnot. And in in enrolling with you, I had to overcome. Uh, I'm the daughter of educators. Education, education, education. Uh, my subconscious mind was saying, "You're going to invest what in who? He doesn't even have a college degree, or he comes from a blue collar background, or whatever that was, David." That was saying, are you silly? Uh, so it stopped me. That's what was stopping me. And then I would taste a little bit more in Art of Success, and I'd hear, people working through their challenges and limiting mindsets. And so finally I signed up, and wow, between elite mindset. I think I started in the 90-day program, then expanded from there. I also have to acknowledge Mike Janta, who's been in
Oh
your
yeah.
done your work. Mike is Recruiter U founder. I'm part of that, so I have a coach, a business coach, a mindset coach, and that he was very generous to suggest to all of us that we might want to explore David Nagel. So yeah, I mean that's how I got here. And then other limiting beliefs. So fears, fear driven. I was a sole proprietor when I came into Mike's program and started working with you, David. And my limiting belief was that having a team would be more trouble than they're worth. I'd been a manager. I'd been a manager in corporate life, in my corporate career, most of my career. And greed, like, I want to keep all the money to myself. I don't want to pay others. I don't want the pressure either of full time salary expectations of others and benefits and so forth. So um, here's what's remarkable. Spring of 2021, I went back to some of Mike Janta's recordings in his library. And there was something that I heard about. Sometimes it's easier to hire someone green and teach them good habits than hire someone experienced and break them of bad habits in the recruiting industry. So at that point too, I was thinking, okay, Athena and Alexander, my children, they're not interested in recruiting. They don't, and I've built a brand, Regions Recruiting, and a really nice business. And I thought, I wonder if I have any nieces or nephews who might be interested and might have the right skills for this. And I kind of went through everyone in my mind. I came up with Martin. And Martin was fresh out of college. He had been working about 18 months in part-time job in bank fraud investigations. He was a contractor doing
Okay.
bank fraud, doing the research to feed the investigator, I think. And it occurred to me, he's been in a professional environment. He's got the communication skills. He's got the research skills. I asked him if he wanted to try recruiting part time. He did. He started full time July 12th, 2021. I lost Athena July 20th, 2021. So only a week or so before that very devastating event, Martin was in place. He knew enough that I could have him team up with some good friends, some former colleagues of mine from Deloitte that have a recruiting firm. They supported him on some searches that were underway. A consultant that I work with periodically supported him, and we got through that because, believe me, I checked out for
Yeah.
6. I remember a call with you that what can we do for you? And I just was sobbing. I don't even know. I don't know what you can do. It was deep, raw grief at that point. And I had hired someone as green as he was who could sustain the business until I could come back into it. That and the generosity of my friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's great to have good people around you.
and then I hired another recruiter. I had to persist. My spirit was telling me. So I look, I find a lot of folks in recruiting. We find them on LinkedIn. And there was a young woman, another freshly minted graduate, Emma, who had, I saw her profile. And I don't know, sometimes you get these um, impressions and impulses, and it feels right, and they're the one. And I talked with some other potential team members, and so we still joke about that, how she ignored me for a while when I came back like the third time. And she's wonderful. And then we added Nicole just this past fall. So we're a team of 4 now, and I started with that limiting belief to more trouble than they're worth. My gosh, the business is triple what it was when I was on my own.
Yeah. Good hires.
Yeah.
Outside of the tragic loss of your daughter, what's been the biggest obstacle for you from a business success perspective?
The biggest obstacle from a business perspective. So, the reluctance to hire, the reluctance to delegate in the beginning.
Okay.
I mean, the business just keeps expanding and growing, multiplying. Oh, in the beginning of course,
Yeah.
fear of sales calls.
Fear of
Fear of
sales
sales
calls.
calls. Yeah. So, understanding through the work with you that, see, subconscious didn't even want me to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But understanding through the work we do with you that it's nothing but an opportunity to provide a service, and you're having conversations to see what people really need. And it may not be you, could be another resource they need, could be they don't need anything at the time, but just being in conversation and seeing where we can be of service.
I've been teaching salespeople for a long time, and I don't even take credit for this because this is what my mentor taught me. He was like, help everybody. Just go out there. Stop thinking about going out there and getting a sale. Go out there and help. And the universe will send you back everything you could possibly want.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful that I learned that information before I started my company almost 26 years ago now. But I watch people when they come to us and I see that, can you please just show me how I could we just need to get this money or hit this payroll or make this mark or live this dream or whatever. And when you tell them to stop trying to get and go out there and give, if you get that blank deer in the headlights kind of a look in their eye, And generally, if they stick with it, they'll come around. But then they go, I can't believe how much things actually change in our business and the results that we're getting based on that simple idea of just flipping it. Instead of
Yes.
going out there and trying to get some money every day or get a client every day, we're going out there and trying to help people every
How
day.
can I serve? The other part, the other piece I'm remembering, David, I gave you, you helped me give up competition. I'm I have a master's degree in economics, supply,
Yeah.
demand, competition. Know the competition, study the competition. Um, I'm a very competitive person to begin with. I played, decades of competitive tennis and other sports when I was young. I come from a very competitive family, and I have given up competition, and I don't worry about it. And my gosh, how freeing that is not to worry about the competition. Strive for excellence in what we do, in our niche, be of service. We do a lot with executives in transition. So we're always paid by the hiring organization. We're retained, engaged recruiters. And there are plenty of people in transition who'll be referred to us. And we work with them. We do marketing campaigns, featuring their skill sets, out to blast that out to our clients and prospects. And there, a lot of times they'll say, "What do I owe you for this? I mean, this is amazing. I love this email campaign you're about to do for me. What do I?" Nothing. I said, "This is our greater good." And it's a win-win. We're enhancing the probability of you being in the right place at the right time with someone who has a need. We're showing the caliber of talent we work with, and we feel good about doing this for you.
That's one of the number one stress relieving ideas that I think is out there. Quit competing with everybody else
Yeah.
and just go be the best that you can.
Hmm.
But you're right, it's so ingrained in the educational system. you know I was very competitive as a younger man myself, but I didn't, in fun things like, in sports or fishing or something, like in fun stuff. But I found in business I hated it. I did not want to compete with anybody. I just wanted to do things in a way that brought great enjoyment to me, and I think most people are like that if they give up the idea of competition.
Yes. Yeah. It's very liberating.
Very. So where are
Yeah.
you going from here? Where are you going from here with your business and with the foundation?
That is a great question. We have a planning meeting. So we had our first ever fundraiser for Eleos Foundation in April. And it was remarkably successful. We exceeded our target of $50,000. The mayor of Atlanta showed up along with some of his family members. Really wonderful representation from some of the small business owners in Atlanta. And we weren't even advertising it. It was just through the boards network and the Atlanta Women's Club. They were kind enough to make their space available to us free of charge. They're kind of like incubators of baby nonprofits like us. They provide their venue um, to us to host these type of events. So we're meeting next month. We have new board members, including a director with J&J Johnson Johnson.
Okay.
She's a marketing director and very inspiring, knows her stuff. I think we're going to be developing this larger vision. We're getting inquiries from other states, so we may very well be expanding beyond Georgia.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to donate to Eleos Foundation, how could they do that? Could they do that right now? Is that possible that
Sure.
they can
Yeah,
do that right
it's
now?
our website is Eleos Foundation. Someday I hope we can own Eleos Foundation, but Eleos Foundation.org. And we have a PayPal set up there.
I can imagine that a lot of the people that listen to me, that these stories might touch their heart in a way where they think that's a fantastic idea. You might see a nice bump in revenue, as far as donations go
That would
when
be
this
beautiful.
goes live. That would be my wish for you guys, that you get
And
something
for
really good out of
relative
it.
to my business, Regions Recruiting, I was going to share with you, Steph took us through a vivid vision.
Yep.
exercise back in 2022. I did that with Martin. We read it last month. We are ahead of the game because we weren't supposed to hire Nicole until this year. We hired her last September. We'll be adding another team member in 2025. We're on target revenue wise. That vivid vision is a remarkable exercise. And what I get is from everything you've shared with us, David, it's that emotional attachment. You see it, you can taste it, you can feel it. You have that emotional attachment, and that helps manifest it.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for
Yeah.
everybody listening, one of the things that she's referring to, Steph and I got this out of Cameron Harold's book, Vivid Vision. We encourage you to get the book. It's one of the best books on creating your own vision for your life and business that we have found that's out there. And he's adjusted some things based on the typical idea of long-term vision or the big, hairy, audacious goal type of an idea to something that you can actually stick to. You can almost taste it, smell it, touch it. It brings it in much closer. And he suggests that we start with a 3-year vision, which I happen to agree with, for the main reason that everything's changing so damn fast constantly. It's hard to know what you're going to do, 6 months from now, based on the way things change. But
And we're going to use it for Eleos Foundation. Yes,
great.
when we get
Yeah,
together next month, we're going to use that for Eleos.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's great. Yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank you for doing this, and I want to wish you the best in both endeavors.
Thank you, David. I'm so honored to be here, and I'm so grateful for everything that I've learned from you, and that everything that I practice as a result of all the wisdom, excuse me, you've shared with us. So thank you for being you.